This is a little short video to think about how I'm going to use a progression ladder, which is our metacognitive tool for this half term. It's part of the page I'm designing today on the 23rd, and so I just thought I'd make a quick video just to go through the basics of how I'm going to be creating this. Okay, so if I can get away with not throwing my camera around. I've started off, I've just got one straight line down, okay, and I've got my success criteria for a progression ladder here. In my thinking column, I'm just going to pop a few things in here once I've done that. It's really important to think about this actually, and I give myself little boxes here so I can tick them off to kind of evaluate how well I've done at the end really. Start with a single straight vertical line, and then with my ruler, I'm just going to kind of go one ruler space and then kind of just by eye, kind of go for two ruler spaces. Okay, I'm going to make sure these two lines are parallel, and I'm going to try and draw them about the same length. It doesn't need to be precise. Okay, so I've got my line down like that. Now on my progression chart, I need 4, 5, 6. I need 7 different sections, which means I need 6 different rungs of my progression ladder. So I'm just going to go down here and I'm going to look at it and I'm going to go, well, halfway is about here. It doesn't need to be precise. Halfway is about here. So I'm just going to make a mark with a pencil, and then I'm going to split this up into my sections here. So if I need 6 lines the whole way down, I'm going to need to think about how I can do that. Okay, so I can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. I'm just going to make little marks like that, and then just look at it, make sure it's kind of roughly by. I don't need to be measuring it precisely. You can do if you want to, but you'll get a good enough thing with this. And then you need to make sure your lines are horizontal across, and you try and keep your horizontal lines parallel. You need to write in each section, so you need to make each box big enough to write in. So I'm just going to continue to fill these in. So you can see I've finished that off now. I've just drawn my lines across all the way down, and you can see they're pretty much the same space. And I've got enough to write a few little words in each one. I'm not writing a huge amount in each bit of the ladder, but essentially it's how I'm tracking my sort of progress in understanding up the ladder. So what I might do is I might just pop a little arrow in there with my upwards trajectory on that. Okay. Then what I need to do is I just need to put in the way this works. And so if you're thinking about this progression ladder, you start at the bottom with essentially, I'm really uncertain. I haven't got a clue. I don't really know what's going on here at all. And that's absolutely fine, because that's often where we start with a problem. So I'm really uncertain. Now, as we go up the ladder, we fill in the rest of these sections. So what we have is I'm really uncertain, then it goes I'm uncertain, then we have some understanding, I do understand, I understand and can explain, I'm somewhat confident and can show someone else, and I'm totally confident and I can teach others. So I'm just going to go ahead and get those filled in. Okay, so I've got those bits done now, and we can see how this works as kind of a progression upwards ladder. Now, I'm really uncertain, I'm uncertain, I have some understanding, I do understand, I understand and can explain, I am somewhat confident and can show someone else, and I'm totally confident and can teach others. So this is how we create our progression ladder. And what I need to do is I kind of need to think about myself and evaluate where I am on this ladder. This is like a journey of understanding, okay? So the more we understand about something, the more confident we are in something, the higher up we would put ourselves on the ladder. And it's not about coming in and going, oh, I'm great already, like I know everything about it, I'm absolutely brilliant. What it is about being really honest and going, I'm uncertain, or I have some understanding, or I'm really uncertain. Because frankly, at the beginning of most things, we would probably find ourselves at the bottom of the ladder. But what we want to see is that by the end of the inquiry, we're moving up the ladder, and we can really demonstrate how we've made progress in our understanding around a subject. Okay, so the last thing we are going to have a look at here is our success criteria for our progression ladder. I think, first of all, in terms of the creation of it, we need to make sure that we're thinking about having a neatly drawn metacognitive tool using a ruler, horizontal, parallel, vertical lines as well. Okay. One of the next things that we need to think about is actually where the writing goes, and you can see for some I've had to put my writing on 2 lines, for others my writing goes on 1 line. Some is 2 words, these up here are much longer. So actually a really important part about setting this out is planning where you put your writing and planning where it goes. Okay, so that's going to be the second part of our success criteria. Carefully plan where the writing goes so that it all fits. And the third thing I'm going to put on here is probably the most important thing here, is going to be about how we use this progression ladder, and it's going to be about being honest. Okay, so it's about being really reflective and really honest with myself and my own progress so that I know my starting points. So that's going to be my third point here for my success criteria for a progression ladder. Be honest when you are using one. And that goes for not just our starting point, but also our end point. It's not about starting at the bottom and finishing at the top, because sometimes we can go through an inquiry and not get to the top by the time we get to the end. And it's really important, actually, that if we don't make that much progress, we understand why, we understand what's happened. So if we start at, I have some understanding, and then we only get ourselves to, I do understand, well, it's good that you've improved our understanding, but we need to go a bit deeper and understand, well, what's stopping you from explaining that? Or what's stopping you from showing someone else? Or what's stopping you from teaching? So we need to be really honest with this and go, okay, well, if my progress hasn't been right to the heights of this, why? What's holding me back from that? And so that we can unpick that and make sure we're making better progress next time. So it's honest in your starting point, but it's also honest in your end point and how well you've got on with this.